Good evening, dear listener. Tonight, we'll begin a peaceful journey into the distant past, to the beginning of an island's ancient story, the story of Vijaya, the first king of Sri Lanka. Let your eyes rest, and let your breath grow slow and gentle. As night folds gently around you, allow the story of this bold young prince, cast away from his homeland, to drift into your dreams, softly, like the ocean wind he once sailed on. Donabai, born of lions and exile. Long ago, before cities stood tall in Lanka and before kings ruled from palaces of stone and wood, there was a young prince named Vijaya. He was born in a faraway land, Sinapura, in ancient India. His father was a king, his mother a queen, and yet, Vijaya's path would not be easy. Vijaya, though royal by blood, was restless in soul. He was fierce, wild, and rebellious, a storm inside royal robes. He led his friends in mischief and defiance. The people feared his anger. The ministers whispered of his temper. And so, a choice was made. His father, King Sinhabahu, heavy with sorrow, ordered his son to leave. Vijaya was exiled, not in hatred, but in hope. He left not alone. 700 loyal men followed him, sailing with him across the dark waters. Banished, but not broken, they sought a new land, a place to begin again. And beneath the glow of stars and the sighing winds of the Indian Ocean, they found it, landing at Tambapani. The ships creaked and rocked, guided only by stars and fate. Days passed, nights passed, until, at last, a faint line of green on the horizon, the island of Lanka. They landed at a place where the soil was red and warm beneath their feet. It stained their hands and garments a coppery hue, so they named the place Tambapani, meaning copper-colored earth. The jungle was thick, the air humid. Strange birds sang from the trees, monkeys chattered in the branches, and the wind carried scents Vijaya had never known. But this land was not empty. Lanka was wild, and in its forests lived the Yakas, mystical beings, neither gods nor men, protectors of the land. Among them was a woman, tall, graceful, with eyes sharp as moonlight, and a presence that stilled the trees. Her name was Kuveni, the sorceress of Lanka. Kuveni was a queen among her people. Some called her a witch, others a guardian. She watched Vijaya and his men from the shadows, curious, cautious. Instead of driving them out, she approached him, not with weapons, but with words. She saw something in Vijaya, power, potential, and loneliness. Vijaya, too, was moved. Here was someone who knew this land, someone who walked through the jungle as if it were her palace. Kuveni offered him a pact. "I will help you," she said in a voice like falling water. "Defeat the Yakas who oppose you, build your kingdom here, and I shall stand beside you." He agreed, and together they overcame the Yaka resistance. Kuveni, using her magic and knowledge of the land, Vijaya with his leadership and sword. Soon the land of Tambapani belonged to him. Peace and betrayal. For a time, Vijaya and Kuveni lived in peace. She bore him 2 children, a son and a daughter. They lived in a forest palace. The people of Lanka began to follow Vijaya, seeing in him a leader, a future king. But in his heart, Vijaya felt unease. He was of noble birth. He had been raised to believe that only those of pure royal blood could truly rule. And Kuveni, though loyal, was a Yaka woman, not of his world. And so, quietly, he sent a message back to India. He asked for a princess to be sent to him, a bride from royal lineage, someone to become his queen. When the princess arrived by ship, Vijaya turned his back on Kuveni. He told her to leave. Heartbroken, betrayed, she took her children and vanished into the deep forest. Legends say she wept for days. Others say she cursed him with her final breath, and so she disappeared, her fate a mystery, her sorrow echoing through the hills of Lanka. The first king of Lanka, now wed to a princess of noble birth, Vijaya was crowned the first king of Lanka. He called his kingdom Sinhala, the land of lions, in honor of his ancestry, and from this word, Sinhalese would later be born. He built roads, he created laws, villages grew into towns, the land became a nation. Though he had no children with his new queen, he ruled wisely for many years. His council of ministers helped him shape a new society, one of trade, order, and devotion. He chose a successor from among his kinsmen in India, and so the royal line continued. Vijaya ruled for 38 years. Whispers in the forest. Even after his death, the land whispered his name. The red soil of Tambapani still bears the prints of his first steps. The winds through the trees still echo Kuveni's sighs. The rivers that once watered his settlements still flow, timeless and calm. Some say, if you walk into the forest during the quiet of dawn, you may see her shadow, Kuveni, watching the land she helped shape. Her children's names lost to time, but her spirit rooted in the soil. And Vijaya, his legacy lives on not in monuments, but in the story of every king that followed. This is the story of Pandu Kabaya, the builder of cities, the keeper of peace, and the silent flame that lit the heart of Lanka. So take a deep breath, let the world fall away, and let this gentle story unfold like ripples on a still lake. A birth, hidden by fear. Long ago, before Anuradhapura became a city of spires and stone, there lived a royal woman named Umadevi. She was a princess, noble, graceful, and loved by her people. But one day, an old sage delivered a prophecy that one of Umadevi's children would destroy her brothers, the uncles, and take the throne. Fear crept into the hearts of men. To prevent this future, the uncles made a cruel choice. They locked her away, and when she bore a son, they vowed to kill him. But fate had other plans. The newborn was taken in secret by a servant, hidden far away in the safety of the forest. He was named Pandu Kabaya, child of the silent dawn. Born of nobility, raised by whispers and wind. And so, far from palaces and spears, the boy began his quiet life, unaware of the destiny waiting beyond the trees. Long ago, before Anuradhapura became a city of spires and stone, there lived a royal woman named Umadevi. She was a princess, noble, graceful, and loved by her people. But one day, an old sage delivered a prophecy that one of Umadevi's children would destroy her brothers, the uncles, and take the throne. Fear crept into the hearts of men. To prevent this future, the uncles made a cruel choice. They locked her away, and when she bore a son, they vowed to kill him. But fate had other plans. The newborn was taken in secret by a servant, hidden far away in the safety of the forest. He was named Pandukabaya, child of the silent dawn. Born of nobility, raised by whispers and wind. And so, far from palaces and spears, the boy began his quiet life, unaware of the destiny waiting beyond the trees. A boy of the forest. The forest raised him gently. The wind taught him how to listen, the river how to move with patience, the birds how to sing without fear. He grew strong. He ran with deer, climbed trees like vines, and drank from clear streams. But there was something in him, something that could not be hidden. He dreamed of cities, of order, of something greater. The villagers who knew his secret began to whisper, "This is no ordinary child." He was kind, he was clever, and in his eyes there was purpose. And so, when he was old enough, they told him, "You are not just a boy. You are the heir to the land." And just like that, the forest boy became a prince, the long struggle for the throne. Pandukabaya knew he could not take the throne with swords alone. He needed people and trust. And so, step by step, he built his strength. He gathered allies from the countryside, farmers, hunters, monks, those forgotten by the crown. All believed in the boy from the forest. He did not rush. Years passed, and slowly his power grew. The uncles who ruled, his mother's brothers, heard of the boy. They searched the jungles, fearing the prophecy once more. They sent armies, they sent spies. But Pandukabaya was not easy to catch. He moved through the trees like a shadow. He struck not with force, but with thought. Eventually, after many battles, many escapes, and many quiet victories, he stood alone. His uncles had fallen, not to hate, but to history. And the forest boy now walked the steps of kings. The birth of a city. He could have ruled from a mountain or a hill, but Pandukabaya saw farther. He saw a future beyond war, a place where peace could grow like rice in a paddy. And so, he went to the center of the island, to a place called Anuradhapura. There was only jungle, ponds, and wild paths, but he saw something others did not. Here, he thought, we shall build, not for kings, but for people. He ordered the clearing of land. He mapped out roads and canals. He invited traders, farmers, priests, and teachers. He dug lakes. He built shrines. He carved peace into the earth. And slowly, Anuradhapura grew, not in noise, but in silence, not in wealth, but in wisdom. A king of all people. Pandukabaya was not a loud king. He did not boast. He did not conquer. He listened. He created space for all beliefs, Buddhists, Brahmins, forest dwellers. He believed a city was not stone and wood, but hearts and hands. He appointed ministers from different walks of life. He allowed traditions to blend like streams into a river. Even the spirits of the land, it was said, were honored under his rule. He built shrines for unseen beings. He gave space for silence, for ritual, for rest. People came to him not in fear but in hope, and in return, he gave them peace. In the center of Anuradhapura, near the banks of a quiet lake, he planted trees. He walked barefoot among his people. He spoke to the old and the young with equal care. He ruled for 70 years. Never once did he leave his people behind. He was not perfect, no king is. But he was loved, and that is a rare thing in the stories of rulers. He grew old, not as a warrior, but as a father to a nation. And when the time came, he passed silently, like a breeze leaving the valley. The forest was still, the city quieted, and the people mourned the quiet legacy. Today, Anuradhapura is filled with temples and towers. Tourists walk its paths. Monks chant beneath its trees. But beneath every stone, behind every ancient wall, there is a whisper. This was once a dream. A dream planted by a boy who once ran barefoot through the trees. A boy who became a king, not through force, but through faith. Pandukabaya's story is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is like the gentle curve of a stream. It flows, slowly, endlessly, shaping everything it touches. Sleep. Now, with the Forest King. And now, dear listener, let your breath slow. Let your thoughts return to that forest, where the boy still walks beneath the tall trees, where the wind still carries his name, where Anuradhapura first opened her eyes to the sky. Let the rhythm of his journey guide your dreams, from hidden birth to gentle rule, from jungle paths to paved roads. Sleep now, knowing that even in the darkest beginnings, a light can grow. A king can rise not in rage, but in stillness, and peace, like sleep, will come in time. Good night, dreamer. May your rest be as deep as the lakes of Anuradhapura, and your thoughts as calm as the rule of King Pandukabaya.